Hi, everyone. Welcome to our FE Analytics tip series. We have created a tip for every single feature of analytics. If you spend some time watching each one of them, you will master this system very quickly. So we thought we'd start off with tip number one being just navigation, setting some groundwork and some foundation, just so you're aware of how to use this system and how to operate it. It's all pretty intuitive. You'll be happy to hear when you log into analytics, this is your main screen. And this is pretty much where you control all that creation. So you always flow from left to right. On the left-hand side, this is your active list, and you need to tell it what data you want to look at. Do you want to look at funds? Do you want to look at sectors, indices, filters, portfolios, etc., and drop it into your active list? And on the right-hand side, that's where the features live. You've got to tell it what feature you want to use on the data to create that content. Do you want to create a chart, a table, or a report? There's very little limit here as well. I mean, if you wanted to go and look at 1,000 funds, go and find 1,000 funds. Or if you just simply wanted to compare a portfolio versus another, find the two portfolios and compare them using some of the features on the right. But as a starter for 10, just again set the scene. On the left-hand side, if I wanted to find a fund, all of our funds are under instruments. You'll find the universe is here. So I'll select unit trust and OEICs because that's the type of fund I'm after. And under management group, I can select the relevant manager. And underneath that, we'll load up all of their funds. I'll just go and grab that balanced fund, add that into the mix. And on the right-hand side, what do I want to do with that data? I want to throw that into a performance graph, just simply over 1 year. This is under charts, and click on generate. And again, it will always do whatever I request. It's going to take that fund, a line chart, smash them together, and it creates a 1 year line chart of that fund. And if I wanted to take that away to show a client, I can PDF the output with my logo in the top left-hand corner. But alternatively, if I don't want that, I can close it all down. They're pop-up windows, and we can go again. You'll notice on every single fund that you add, you'll have a fact sheet icon and also an alerting icon as well. So we'll get more into that in some of the other tips. But if you want to delete a fund or anything from your active list, you can click on that dustbin icon. Now, you've also got little search boxes at the top here as well, here and here. So if you type in an ISIN code, a CEDAW code, a city code, a MEXID, or even just the name of the fund, it will try and find that fund for you. These are all the funds that have got hit for life strategy. So I want to look at the 60%, add that in. And equally, rather than just hitting add, you've got a little arrow beside it where I can add fund and sector and add fund and benchmark or index. So if I click on the first one, for example, it will automatically find the relevant sector and add it in for me. But incidentally, I can go and grab the sector manually in here, just find it, or a market index as well. There are tens of thousands of those, and equally filters and portfolios that we'll get into later on in the tip series. But again, once I'm ready to create some content, we'll stick with line charts. But rather just doing 1 year, I can do user specified. So to go from one date to another. Actually, I want to create a few charts here, so I can keep on clicking this add period button. It allows me to do up to 4. So I can do 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 7 year. And then also I can base this not as a percentage figure. I might want to make it a bit more relevant to my clients that's got $50,000, euros, pounds to spend. I can pop that in there, click on generate chart, and we can see what 50,000, in this case pounds, would look like invested into our life strategy fund over 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 7 year. You'll see the axis changes to 50,000, and at the very bottom there in brackets, what the value of each is worth. And again, PDF if you want to take it away. If not, close it down. And again, we go again. Incidentally, little colored squares next to the items on the left will dictate the color of the chart. We had blue versus red earlier. If you want to change that to maybe green versus orange, you can do it like that. And I just want to signpost as well, just before we move on the left-hand side under Portfolio Tools, you've got the MPS directory. So those of you that use MPS solutions, these are all the MPS providers. There's pretty much all of them in here. And if you click on the MPS provider that you're using and you want to access their mandate through the system, that's a bit of a marketing spiel about who they are and what they do. And if you click on Activate Me, you'll be activated for their model portfolios. And back on this main screen, under that portfolio tools, the portfolio tab, underneath that will be all of the model portfolios that you've enabled yourself with. And again, the same as a fund, a sector, an index. You find what you want, click on add, drop it into the active list. And so long as it's in your active list, it will appear in the features and the content that you're selecting on the right-hand side. So that should give you a good enough introduction in terms of analytics. And you'll notice as we go through each tip, there are exceptions to every rule, of course, but for the vast majority, we're going to be using the system in that way. You always start off with the left, find the data you want, and then it's really just a question of mastering the features on the right-hand side, understanding what they do, and then applying it to the data set that you've selected on the left. So let's move on to the second tip, where we'll be exploring these portfolios and building your own.